And then I will sound the trumpet out of the air, and I will send my chosen one, having in him one measure of all my power. And he will summon my people, humiliated by the heathen, and I will burn with fire those who mocked them and ruled over them in this age, and I will deliver those who have covered me with mockery over the scorn of the coming age. Because I have prepared them to be food for the fire of Hades, and to be ceaseless soaring in the air of the underworld regions of the uttermost depths, to be the contents of a wormy belly. For the makers will see in them justice, the makers who have chosen my desire and manifestly kept my commandments. And they will rejoice with merrymaking over the downfall of the men who remain, and who followed after the idols and after their murders. For they shall putrefy in the belly of the crafty worm Azazel, and be burned by the fire of Azazel's tongue. Hello, hello. Welcome. That was chapter 31 of the Apocalypse of Abraham, which is a great book, a very interesting book to read. Right now, of course, right when I start, I'm getting an error from YouTube. So I'm hoping you guys can all hear me okay. But I have some things to go, like some ways of thinking to introduce maybe, or to talk about anyway, about space and what we as a world have somehow found ourselves involved in and taking part in, directly led by Lucifer. The name of this video, I titled it Apollyon's Curse, Space Exploration. There's a few things. First of all, I'm going to read Revelation 9, verse 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. So I want to just talk about Apollyon. That's Apollo. And when I think of the whole entire idea of space exploration, that was started by the angel of the bottomless pit. And I understand some people might not see this connection or see this way, but I would encourage you in the time that we're living in to have a mindset, and I'm not trying to prop myself up, but I'm saying I've found it to be most useful in my own mind for me to consider myself as a student of reality and not a teacher of reality. Because I believe that the time we're in right now, we're learning things that never have been talked about. And actually, I'm going to look up a verse here while I'm talking. Jesus talked about that, about uttering words. And I have to type this out. I can't multitask. Sorry. Since the foundation that haven't been heard since the foundation of the world. Oops. Sorry, guys. I should have looked that up first, but because I can't remember where that one is. And that didn't help me much. Sorry. So, welcome everyone, by the way. And I'm still getting this weird thing from YouTube saying that they're not receiving data. Oh, it just went away. Now it says no data. That's quite odd. Can you guys, in the chat, can you just let me know if you're hearing me okay? I just want to make sure, because I don't understand. Like when I turn on my streaming software, it always says excellent connection. And then often when I hit the go live button or whatever, it just suddenly gives me this yellow warning that says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Thank you, Captain Caveman. And I see that Captain Caveman has a channel now, it looks like. And it looks like there's a link there if you guys want to check that out. Might be a good thing to check out. Thank you, Captain. I always like calling Captain Caveman Captain because he seems to know how to steer the ship correctly. That's what it seems like to me. I don't know him well, but we'll call him Captain. So I also want to talk about some of the comments that people have, been putting on my channel. Some good things and some not so good things, but there's a few comments in particular that amaze me and show me that the people leaving these comments are some of the most wise and humble people that I've ever come across. And so we'll look at that after all of this. But Matthew, let's see. Well, I guess it's Isaiah 40, verse 21. I'm clicking on that right now. I'm going to read that to you. The foundation of the world, like the creation of this world, is kind of an interesting thing to talk about. I didn't know this before, maybe a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago. I didn't know that there was a secret that's been kept since the foundation of the world. I didn't know that. And I also didn't know that the plan, at least according to Paul, is that mystery would be revealed at the end. And Jesus actually prophesied this too. He said that the truth would be made manifest. And it would all come to light. Well, I didn't understand what that meant until it's been manifesting and happening in the world, in reality. And of course, I'm going to be talking about the cosmology topic. Let's see. Oh, Captain Caveman says, "Effed up looking for your video. Did they have telescope, or did John have a telescope?" I think it's probably I think if you search my channel and you said, or search something like John knew the colors of Polaris, or something should come up, because I think I've put that video up a few times. So here, Isaiah 40 verse 21 says, "Have ye not known? Have ye not? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth?" So there's something there, but that's that Jesus said. Oops, my computer's really slow today. I was actually replying to some of the comments on my channel, and as I'm typing, that's how bad my computer is today. As I was typing, the letters wouldn't show up, and I would have to 30 seconds, and then finally the letters would show up. So I actually clicked the button an extra time here. Matthew 13 verse 35, I think, is what I'm looking for. Sorry guys, I'm waiting. We need to talk about a few things. Orbits, space, the whole idea of space. You can look at it as NASA does, and I'm going to tell you that NASA's accurate about that place. NASA actually says the same the Bible says about space in a certain aspect, and what I mean is that it's a bottomless pit, and I'll go over that and explain that. This is something that maybe you haven't thought about before, maybe you have, but the way that science, or I'd say that in quotations, I'll call it scientism, the way that that modern scientism describes space is it literally is a bottomless pit. Anything that goes into space is actually falling continuously, perpetually. It's falling into darkness. I mean, that's just the ISS is in low Earth orbit, right? And why is it that the ISS stays up there? Well, we'll talk about physics, and we'll talk about how physics do not apply in space. But men have established their understanding of physics to apply in space. And so we'll talk about that too. The King James Bible, Matthew 13, verse 35, says that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, and we just read that was Isaiah, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. So secrets kept. This is an interesting subject, because if there was a secret kept from the foundation of the world, and if it was, let me look up what Jesus said about this, about the truth being made manifest. Truth will be, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I think that's John chapter 8, maybe. Verse 31. Yep. It says, so Jesus said to the Jews who believed him, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This is true, friends. This is so true. When Jesus would go around into places where they didn't really believe that he could heal their infirmities and do all these miracles, he didn't. And that's why he said things in like the following: your faith has made you whole. It's faith. It's believing in something, believing in him, is the power of miracles. It's belief. And so right there he says, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Well, one other verse I want to read, or part of a verse, is what Paul wrote about how he preached his gospel. And this is an interesting thing. I never understood why Paul called it his gospel. And I always thought to myself, is that different than the gospel of the kingdom that Jesus preached? I don't understand. Well, it may be. I mean, I don't really know. But if we look at Romans 16, Paul said that he preached his gospel according to a mystery. So that would say to me that unless a person knew what that mystery was, his gospel might be kind of hard to understand, because Paul had a mystery revealed to him, and maybe you and I haven't. So if Paul knew something that we didn't know and he preached his gospel according to that, I would say that that's going to require faith to believe the gospel. But in Romans chapter 16, verses 25 and 26, it says, now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifest, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. So this is interesting, because there has been a mystery, and not everyone believes in it. And I don't think everyone is supposed to believe in it right away. We're going to go to John 17. Jesus said a prayer, and he prayed for you, and he prayed for me, and he actually prayed for everyone that would live in the world. And it's kind of interesting the way he put it. So I want to go to that and read that, or read a few verses out of his prayer when he was praying. And you know how, I'll comment while I'm waiting for my computer to get there. Jesus was a man. He was the Word made flesh, the Word of God made flesh, the Son of God, he's the only begotten Son of God. So he was born into a man's body, but his father was God. So when Jesus is on the earth, he's in the same condition that you and I are in, with a body of flesh and bones and blood, and we are experiencing a reality, and we call it life, or we call it, I don't know what we call it, life, I guess, and or being a human being, or being born into the world. Well, I think one of the biggest secrets, or not secrets, but one of the biggest mysteries is, what are we here for? Why did we come here? Why were we born? Why is the world made? Why for everything, really? Why do we have morals? Why do we have all of these questions? And they're all answered in the Bible, like very clearly, I think. So in John 17, let's see here. Okay, let's start in verse 6. This is Jesus praying before he was crucified. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. So right there he's saying he manifested his name to men that the Father gave him out of the world. And I would say in the time that he was praying this, he was probably talking about his disciples, and we just went over John 8:31 to 32 that said, if you stay in his word, you're his disciple indeed, and the truth, or you will know the truth, and it will set you free. I kind of like that because it rhymes, indeed, and yeah. So then he says, now they have known all the things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them. And have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. So anytime that we hear the word believe, that that is the action of faith, is believing in something, or not the action. Maybe I said that wrong. When you exercise faith, it's believing in something that we can't see. And actually, I think Hebrews 11, I think Hebrews 11 talks about that a little bit, and maybe it'd be better if I just read a couple verses out of there. I'm not so good with my vocabulary sometimes explaining things. So in Hebrews 11, verse 1, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. So the act of creation, of God creating from nothing, that is faith. If is because we don't know a way of creating matter and rocks and stone and light and wood and gravel and all the things that we have in this world, metal. We don't understand how to create that from nothing, because we can't. We just can't do that. I really wish YouTube would see this error. It's been on the whole time. And yeah, I don't know. My internet signal seems... hopefully you guys are hearing me. So in John 17, though, he's saying that he gave the people that the Father gave him, and he manifested his name, and they have believed in him, right? And then it says, I pray for them, or this is Jesus in chapter 17 in the book of John. verse 9. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. But then, a little bit later on in the prayer, in verse 14, he says, I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. Okay, now this is the part where I think we all have to carefully listen to these words, because they have a lot more meaning than they did the first time I read them. The first time I read them, I was just read right past this. But so what I'm saying is, turn your ears on special right now. Put them on the special mode to be very carefully listening to his words. Verse 18 says, As thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. I get goosebumps when I read that, you guys. He just said, the people that he showed his word to and they believed him, he sent them into the world. And he showed them truth. Just like in John 8, when he said that, if you stay in my word, you're my disciple indeed. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So that he's saying that they also might be sanctified through the truth. But then he says, Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. So these are witnesses. These are witnesses that he sent into the world, and are having them present something to the world that the world doesn't know, and it happens to be truth. So I just think it's very important that we realize that he prayed for those he sent into the world, but not them alone. He prayed for the people in the world that would believe because of what those people said. Which, if we apply that to today, I think it's very important to, I don't really know how to put it to words, to be honest. I'm trying to think of an example or an analogy. If you're taking a test in school, and before the test your teacher says, on question number 20, be sure that you look at a specific page in your history book. Okay? If your teacher said that, I think possibly your teacher would be giving you a clue to what the answer might be for that. So when you come to that question, you might happen to look in your book at whatever page she said or he said, and you might, I see you might understand why they would say that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that kind of applies, and that's probably a horrible analogy, but there are things that we're being shown in this world, and don't expect everyone to believe it. But this is what Jesus prayed, is that the people that didn't see it would believe it. They would have faith in him because of those people that he sent into the world. And personally, I believe that this is happening right now. I see a lot of new names in the chat. Welcome, and I'm glad you guys are all here. Okay, so let me grab my note. I made some notes here. Okay, so we're talking about physics and space next. Let me find some comments. Some of these comments gave me I didn't feel like making a video or anything for the last few days. I didn't really I just was kind of listening to everything that listening to other people. But then today I was answering some comments replying to some comments, and I found suddenly I felt like I had to make do a live video to talk about a few of these things. So that's what I'm doing right now. But let me try to find. I have to open up a YouTube really quick, and I'm not trying to do a lot with the display software today. So what you see on the screen is probably just what you're going to see the whole time. Michael Kahn says, I'm new, Apt Up World. How new? Just kidding. I just don't want to do a screen share and all that because it feels like my computer is going to just give me trouble the whole time. So one of the comments, actually it was a comment that I left on a video, and I'll explain it once I get there. Okay. See, there was a video, and I'm not really familiar with the channel, to be honest, but I was subscribed, so I must have seen one of their videos, sometime and liked it or whatever. And I'm actually going to go to the video so that I can see what channel it was. You know what I'll do? I'm going to put a link to the video in the description. You guys can check it out if you want. Or I mean, not the description, in the chat right now. Let's see, paste. Okay, this is the video that these following comments were. They're actually under the video. You can go look at them if you want. This is the Fuel Project, and they kind of hesitated making a video about the flat Earth because they didn't think it was a subject that was worth any airtime, and that's kind of what they did. They kind of they didn't really even talk about it much at all. But I could tell, people are genuine when they're putting out a video like this. So he put a lot of work into trying to get his point across, how he felt about it, and that's fine. I got nothing but respect for people that'll do things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But he overlooked a lot of things. And so in the comments, you know what I can do right now? I guess we are going to do a desktop, just so you guys can see what I've got going here. Or so you guys can see the comments here. You guys want to see what darkness looks like? Boom. There's darkness. Darkness. There was darkness upon the face of the deep at the beginning. Let's see here. I don't want to sit and read all these comments because I've actually been, chatting with these people a little bit back and forth. Well, how do I get you to the desktop? Sorry, guys. Okay, should be seeing. There we go. Okay, so I left a nice comment. It took a minute, it wasn't short. But the only time I ever leave a comment is when I truly want people to understand the point of view that I have. And that's like from the most genuine part of me. So when I do leave a comment, I try to be polite, and I try to at least introduce to them the other, this other way of thinking that I've learned in the last 5 years. So let me just read this comment, I guess. So, hello, I am a flat earther for 5 years now, and I don't deny any of the science that is presented that would make people like the gentleman in this video be able to say it is obvious that the earth is spherical. Many flat earthers don't think that space is real and have the idea that NASA and other space agencies are faking space and what happens there. I am not of this mindset. And I gotta just preface this, guys. If you haven't been on my channel before, I don't think that any of the things that NASA is doing is fake. Now that, a lot of people disagree with that strongly, and they let me know, trust me. But it's not, I don't make my beliefs based on what other people think. I just don't. I've looked into all the things that NASA's doing, and although I don't believe the things that they report to be real, I do believe that they believe these things are real. Like, they get ones and zeros back from the Mars Perseverance rover, right? Well, I know a bunch of fallen angels in the place where they go have no problem fooling men with ones and zeros. Just think about that. They get data back from a satellite, and it's a bunch of images, it's a bunch of stuff like that. You don't think that the fallen angels can duplicate and create whatever they want there? Remember, it's darkness, and there's fallen angels under chains of darkness, imprisoned, and it's a bad place to go. Okay, back to the comment here. So I wrote, the space station's real, astronauts are real, the earth beneath them that appears to be spherical is real. I would point out what my eyes see are quite different than the view of the person in this video. Some obvious things to me are very simple and very basic, and everyone that is alive is in agreement about the following facts. The earth beneath our feet that we all live on gives us absolutely no characteristics of rotating or moving. I'll read that again. The earth beneath our feet, like just look in the room you're in, is the floor, because we're talking about the floor. That's the earth. Does that give you any sign of any kind of rotating? No, it doesn't. If you're honest with yourself, it doesn't. And there's a lot of people that get like belligerent when I say that. I say nobody experiences any kind of anything that would make anyone think that the earth is rotating, because it's clearly not. And then people want to say, we're rotating with it, so we wouldn't notice unless there was acceleration. Yeah, that's a good theory, but the fact of the matter is that the ground's not moving. You experience your whole life this way. That was my own words there. So back to my own words in the comment. I'm just kidding. It says, so is that everyone who observes the solid ground not moving and stable is able to observe and perceive the same stationary earth that the flat earther believes in, while somehow thinking it's obvious that the stable solid ground is rotating. If you think about that, it's true. Next time you're, with a family member that thinks believing in flat earth is ridiculous, point these things out to them. Say, okay, well, that's one of the biggest ones to me, is that the earth is stationary. For 43 years, I have been a witness and have observed every day a stationary earth. I've never experienced or perceived anything rotating. So, although they call the flat earthers crazy, it's actually the flat earthers who are paying attention to what they observe and experience. So the crazy idea of a stationary earth is actually the truth. The idea of rotating on an axis is exactly that, an idea. It's a concept. It's something you have to think about in your mind. You never experience it. Ben Bustler, I just caught a comment, says, "What's up, Joe? I've been asking other people what they think the light is God made on the first day. Still waiting. What does everyone here think?" That's such a good question. It's one that part of me wants to say, who's the light of the world? Jesus, right? And I'm not saying I understand that, and I'm not saying I'm right or something. That's just what I seem to kind of assume or think. But yeah, it's a great question. What is that light? Because for those of you who might not know what he's saying there, on the first day, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. It wasn't till the fourth day that God created the sun. So there's a different kind of light than the sunlight, which is just something to think about. Good question. Thanks, Ben. So the earth beneath our feet is not moving. This is what we all observe. And so I wrote, I'll just keep reading my comment here. I'll show you where I'm at. I'll just start right here. So the point of this example is that 7.5 billion people observe a completely non-rotating earth while being convinced that it's rotating. I would challenge anyone to try to think of any reason to believe that the earth is in reality moving. And it's a good challenge. I doubt there's anybody that can kind of give a good answer for that. I've never even been able to think of anything. Okay, and then here's the next thing I wrote. The sky is turning and rotating, which we all observe and perceive also. To prove what I'm saying, I can use the example of star trail photography. Okay, so now I have to get some star trail photography up on the screen so you guys understand. If you haven't seen this before, we will look at, it should be coming up there. There we go. Okay, what this image is that we're watching in the background, or that's on the screen right now, that's from my backyard, and all I did was put my camera out there on a tripod, and I pointed my camera to the North Pole star Polaris, which is in the center there, and I let my camera sit there and take long exposure images for 150 minutes. And this is the image I got back. So my camera never moved, ever. My camera was sitting on this, it was actually sitting on the back of a 64 Ford Fairlane, if you must know, my brother's car, just because that was a good place to film this from. So that image comes from a camera that did not move. That's a fact, okay? I don't think anyone would disagree with that. It's when we go back into this concept idea part of our minds where we get rotation from, those kinds of things. It's only when we go there do we say, well, that could be the earth turning. Well, but the fact of the matter is, it's not the earth turning because it's the stars turning, as your screen shows you. And my testimony is that I never moved the camera once. The camera was in the same spot the whole time. So basically the stars are circling around that center point there. Okay? So that's what star trail photography is. I can use that. Where are we here? Okay, when I place my camera on a tripod on the ground that's not moving, take long exposure images of the sky, the obvious fact that the stars and the sky are turning becomes apparent. While also knowing that my camera was in the same place the whole time and never moved throughout the time taking the image. So the point here is that we must ignore that the stars are turning above the earth to believe that the earth is rotating. And I said, I'm not trolling, but rather pointing out that we have been raised in a world that is capable of ignoring some of the most obvious facts in order to believe in a concept that we don't actually experience in reality. And the solar system is another good example. Everything that you perceive and I perceive is done from our bodies. We have like equipment or tools or instruments that God gave us, like sight, hearing, the sense of smell and taste, balance, and all the things that our bodies do. That's how we perceive the world. So everything you see is from your point of view. We don't look at something from outside of our body. We can only imagine something from outside of our body. And so let me ask this question. Who here has ever seen a solar system? And nobody has. What we see, what we experience on the earth as human beings, every single one of us, is these lights in the sky going over us each day. They like the sun, for example, and the moon, they come up from the east and they go down in the west. That's what they do. They don't orbit. We're not orbiting the sun. the sun's going over the earth. So do you see what I'm saying? Our witness testimony, our observations show us not a solar system. That is a concept that we have to go into our imagination in order to see it. Do you know what I mean? Let's see. So here's I'll just keep reading here a little bit, I guess. Oh, wait. I forgot to turn those back off. Sorry, guys. Okay. And I'll give this example that I've never given on my channel before, I don't think, but it should be fine here. One more example. Here's where whoops. One more example of this. Sorry, guys. Is that I showed my dad a video that I took with my camera that I just showed you guys. This right here. I'm putting it up on screen again while I read this. Or trying to. There we go. So I showed this to my dad, right? And just to make a simple point that I'm trying to make right now is, let's see, the comment, here's what I wrote. One more example of this is that I showed my dad a video that I took from my camera of the North Star Polaris and the stars in the video circling around Polaris. It was a 150-minute time lapse. I asked him what was moving and turning in the image, and he would not admit that the stars in the image were making a circular pattern around the North Star. He insisted that the Earth was turning in the image. Even after I explained to him that my camera didn't move at all during the duration of taking the images. So the fact is that my camera didn't move. And there's still a whole world full of people who would argue with that and say, no, your camera was turning with the Earth. But the fact is that I live on the Earth and that I placed my tripod on the back of my brother's Fairlane and it didn't move the whole time. So the fact is that it's actually the sky turning above the Earth. And if you want to go into that imagination part of your mind and create an idea, that's where we were born. That's the state we were all born in. Imagining that the Earth is rotating and that the sky looks like that because the Earth is rotating when nobody experiences that. So then I wrote in this comment, so I think there's more to the flat Earth than some might not grasp, or than what some might not grasp, sorry. But I like the video and channel regardless, even though I didn't really like it very much. It was actually quite an empty, how long was the video? 9 minutes and 37 seconds. Or no, that wasn't that one. Let's see. That was the ad. So I don't remember how long the video was, but it was pretty short. Probably not more than a half hour. But so we're going to look at some of these replies. I want to just show you, because we're going to be talking about physics and space. That the physics, there is no physics in space. And a lot of people are married to the idea that there is, and they match up with the Earth, you know. So let's see here. A comment that I just got was, hopefully it's on here. Oh, I guess it's show more replies. There's a specific one I wanted to look at. Okay, right here. Chewy531 says, do you have any scripture references? And then he says, observations we make would say otherwise. It appears the astronauts are subject to the same physics we have on the surface. Okay. No, it wouldn't, Chewy. This is hard for me to not, like, make... I don't want to make fun of someone, but this answer is comical. So the astronauts experiencing 0G is the same as the physics we experience on the surface. How can someone even write a comment like that? That doesn't make any sense. It appears the astronauts are subject to the same physics we have on the surface. I just have to say that is the complete opposite of making an observation. So I know a lot of people think that the astronauts are fake or that they're faking it in a studio or something, but that's not the case. And even if you think that, you can still understand what I'm saying here. Because if you think that, you've already looked into the idea of zero gravity. Okay. Now, a little bit ago I said NASA tells you, NASA says, well, let's just do a little fun Google search here. Free fall in space. Did you guys know that anything that's in space is falling perpetually around something else because of gravity, right? So human beings have this theory that mass attracts mass, and so they think these things in the sky have mass, which I'll get into that, but the things in the sky don't have mass. Some of the things that we put up there do, but that's just a trick. That's it, and it's not NASA playing a trick. It's NASA being tricked. So NASA's the victim of great deception when they go up there. Let's just see what is microgravity. Let's go to nasa.gov really quick. I just want to probably some keywords we'll find here that probably will make my point for me. Okay, so remember the topic here for this part is the physics in space. The physics that we know on Earth do not apply in space. And even though NASA and everyone will tell you that they do, that Galileo looked up at and saw Jupiter and saw it had moons going around it. That must mean that gravity exists in space and that those are mass attracting mass. So that's why those moons are orbiting that planet, right? Well, there's another way to look at it, and I'll explain that in a minute. So look at this. This article is part of the NASA Knows Grades 5 to 8 series. So this is very basic stuff that we're going to be reading here. Microgravity is the condition in which people or objects appear to be weightless. So there's one thing that says the physics is nothing like the Earth, because we don't appear to be weightless on the Earth ever. I guess if you want to include the vomit comment, like where you do a like a ballistic trajectory with an airplane, or try to fly that trajectory with an airplane, you can free fall for a short amount of time. Let's see. The effects of microgravity can be seen when astronauts and objects float in space. Again, the physics do not apply the same. Microgravity can be experienced in other ways as well. Micro means very small. So microgravity refers to the condition where gravity seems to be very small. In microgravity, astronauts can float in their spacecraft or outside on a spacewalk. Heavy objects move around easily. For example, astronauts can move equipment weighing hundreds of pounds with their fingertips. Microgravity is sometimes called zero gravity, but this is misleading. Is there gravity in space? Gravity causes every object to pull every other object toward it. That's a theory, guys. Some people think that there is no gravity in space. In fact, a small amount of gravity can be found everywhere in space. Gravity is what holds the moon in orbit around the Earth. Gravity causes Earth to orbit the sun. Wait, did they just say that? Okay, this is so bad. They're teaching this to 5th graders, guys. Gravity causes Earth to orbit the sun? NASA, that's a lie. Why are you telling children that? Have you ever looked up at the sky? The sun goes over the Earth. That's what we experience and witness on the Earth. The sun flying over our heads in the sky. We don't go around the sun. You'd have to have a great imagination to think of that. Or an evil one. Why do objects float in orbit? Okay, the answer is because they are in free fall. In a vacuum, gravity causes all objects to fall at the same rate. Okay, so NASA's telling you that there's free fall, and it's a vacuum. Okay, let's see. I just was looking for a few key things. Okay, free fall, words to know. It says free fall, the condition of moving freely in an environment in which gravity and nothing else is causing acceleration. So that if we said free fall on the earth, that would be towards the ground. If you're up high and you jump off of something, you're going to free fall to the earth. And they want to say that there's an invisible force called gravity that makes that happen. It's actually a lot more simple than that. There's an up and a down, and we all understand with our bodies how that works. You know what I mean? We don't need an explanation of if you pick up a pencil and you drop it, it's going to fall to the floor. And a lot, we could get into density and buoyancy and all these other arguments or whatever, but it really doesn't matter. We can give it whatever words we want, but the experience we all have is the same. Vacuum is the absence of all matter, including air. So in other words, nothing. That's what a vacuum would be. And actually, just the idea of a vacuum is not even a reality. Because if you had nothing, it wouldn't be there. Get it? How can you have a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 or whatever? How could you make a cube that was a vacuum? You couldn't, because if there was nothing, it wouldn't be a cube. It wouldn't be a size. It wouldn't. How do you measure 10 feet in a vacuum if there's nothing? There is no. It's a concept, and it's actually against all nature. The idea of a vacuum. Now, a near vacuum, we can do that right here on the earth. We can start pulling the air out of a container, and we can get it, so there's almost nothing in that container, but there's still something in the container because the container's there. So that, and it says mass is the measurement for the amount of matter in an object. Okay. So free fall, let me go to my notepad here. I think this, okay. So anything in space is free falling around something else perpetually or ceaselessly. Remember at the beginning I was reading the Apocalypse of Abraham. I'll repeat verse, I guess it's part of verse 3. Because I prepared them to be food for the fire of Hades and to be ceaseless soaring in the air of the underworld. Just think about that. Ceaseless soaring in the air of the underworld. That's what the space station is doing. Perpetual soaring. It's falling around what they think is a globe. So this is why they've molded their physics to match with what we see in the sky and not the other way around. The sky's been doing what it's been doing the whole time. It's just men thinking that they have great knowledge, defining it to be a certain way. So the moons are orbiting because of gravity. Of course, the moon orbits the sphere Earth because of gravity. These are all just ideas that they've made to fit what reality is. And they want to feel, I think all of us have this evil in us where we think we have knowledge. And like God said, who is this? What did he say? That darkens counsel with words without knowledge. We don't know all these things. We don't understand. I mean, honestly, I don't think we understand any of these things. Our ways are foolishness to God. He laughs at our knowledge. And it's not correct. Our knowledge is not correct. So we have to think about these things possibly different than we have been. Let's see, where was I going next? Okay. Anything that goes, let me actually just, let me try to find something here. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay, this is another thing. It seems like my program is going to quit. An important thing is, I guess I'll have to I'm going to look it up since I can't get off this screen, so I don't know why. Isaiah. 14. So NASA and SpaceX and all the space agencies want to go up into the sky. They want to explore the universe or whatever they call it. Let's go to Bible Hub, because I'm going to show you something. I guess we'll just go right here to this. Isaiah wrote down specifically what Lucifer wants to do, what he has in his heart to do, and what he says in his heart. We have to be patient with my computer, sorry. Okay, let's go to verse 13. This is talking about Lucifer. And it says, you said in your... for thou hast said in thine heart, I'll read the King James, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. What does that mean? Well, let's just look at some of the words in Hebrew. We can understand exactly what it means. So he said, for you have said in your heart, into heaven I will ascend. Okay, heaven, we all know what heaven is, right? I'm not even going to go there. But what does it mean when he says I will ascend? Allah. And it says to go up, ascend, climb. Okay, so Lucifer says in his heart, he will climb into heaven. He will go up into heaven. He will ascend into heaven. And what else did he say? He's going to put something there. He's going to do something there. It says, above the stars of God, I will exalt my throne. We know what above means. We know about the stars of God. And so up, when he wants to ascend into heaven, when he goes into heaven, he wants to put his throne there. Let's just look at what I will exalt means. To be high or exalted, rise. So this all the things that Lucifer wants to do is he wants to go up and go where God lives, where God resides. But as we'll find in the next couple verses here, so let me go back. We'll go to the next verse. Because I mean, this is very clear, because this is what he says after that. I will ascend. We already looked at that word. It's to go up, climb. Okay. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Let me just play this video in the background while if it'll play, or not in the background, I guess, in the front. Okay, what is that rocket doing? Is that ascending above the heights of the clouds? If you were a teacher and the question on the test was, is this rocket ascending above the heights of the clouds, true or yes or no? Would the answer yes be correct? What about this one? Is this rocket ascending? Is it going up? Is it climbing? Yes. Right? This isn't difficult. What I'm trying to show you is that the space programs, and specifically the space programs, they want to go above the earth and ascend into heaven. Right there, I will ascend into heaven. That's the problem that I see with that is that's exactly what Lucifer wants. That's what Lucifer said he's going to do. And where are some of these rockets going? They're going to a place up there that is perpetually free falling. around the Earth called the space station. I'm going to try to find a video really quick, short one. It's called Sheol. Where is it here? Here it is. Okay. Let's just think about this really quick. This is an image that I took with my camera of the space station. Since I have destined them to be food for the fire of hell and ceaseless soaring in the air of the underground depths, the contents of a worm's belly. So remember at the beginning I read Revelation 9:11. The angel of the bottomless pit. They had a king over them, and it was the angel of the bottomless pit, and it was Apollyon in the Greek. What was the mission to the moon called? Wasn't it called, the first mission, wasn't that Apollo 11? So there was Apollo 11, there was Gemini, there was all these missions, but the one that's current, the mission that's current right now, well, I guess there's Artemis, that's Apollo's sister. That's their current moon mission that they're trying to work to do. But the main mission of all these space agencies is the International Space Station, Low Earth Orbit Laboratory, which is ceaselessly soaring in outer darkness. Now, sinking into Sheol, that says. The astronauts, they also want to do what Lucifer wants. They want to ascend into heaven. They want to ascend above the heights of the clouds and be like the Most High. Let me put something else in the background for you. And I'll just put this up for now. Men want to climb into heaven. This is the Wright brothers. This was probably the first time, at least in our record of history, the first time that men were able to fly through the air like birds. And it really has changed in 110 years, hasn't it? So I'm going to go back to Isaiah. I'm going to just read to you what happens, because Lucifer says this in his heart. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. But look what it says after that. Yet to Sheol you shall be brought down to the lowest depths of the pit. This is a trick that the devil is playing on men. Men thinking that they're ascending into heaven, and they're actually ascending into the bottomless pit. Ascending into the bottomless pit. Sinking into Sheol. There's lots of ways to describe it, but this is what Isaiah wrote in verse 15. Yet to Sheol you shall be brought down to the lowest depths of the pit. So here's the way I look at it. God created the heaven and the earth. The earth is a place where there's matter and there's corruptible things. Our bodies, our flesh and blood, we turn back. We're made of the dirt. We're made of the matter that's here, and more. But our bodies are corruptible. Well, heaven is a different kind of realm, and it's incorruptible. The things in heaven are incorruptible. So what would happen if men, their wicked hearts, decided to try to put corruptible things in heaven? And by corruptible, I mean things that can decay and things that all matter is subject to like deterioration or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't last forever. It's not eternal. So what would happen if men put non-eternal things into an eternal, incorruptible realm? And actually, let me open up Romans chapter 1 and just read something interesting about that. So yeah, that's SpaceX on your screen right now. Okay. In Romans 1 verse, I'm just going to read, excuse me. I'm going to read starting in verse 18. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them. For God hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. I think that's what this is talking about, myself, is that there's a separation between heaven and earth, and that's the firmament. It's the place where the sun, moon, and stars are. And that is not a physical realm the way that NASA thinks it is. The way that NASA, and when I say NASA, I'm kind of talking about just modern science too. The way that the idea that people are leaving comments on YouTube telling me the astronauts experience the same physics that we do down here on the Earth. Are you kidding me? Let's try to be thinking more clearly than that. We don't experience zero gravity free fall here. We don't experience a place that has nothing here. We don't experience a vacuum here. We don't experience any of the things that they experience up there. Do you get what I'm saying? Let's see here. Winston says, what if they are trying to penetrate the firmament? They did that years ago. They're in the firmament. I can show you the video that I was just, my own video. Oops, where is it? That one I was just showing you that I called Sheol of the space station. People say, well, that's just CGI. But the video I took from the ground isn't CGI. Oh, right here. I can just play this one. This is my footage that I took with a P1000. And you can do this any day. Almost any day. Not every day. You can get an app on your phone. Let me go to my phone here. I'll show you what a couple apps that I have, or I'll tell you what they are. 2 apps I have that track the station for me. One's called ISS Finder. The other one's called ISS Spotter. If you go get these apps, they'll tell you exactly when to look up in the sky, exactly where to look up in the sky to see this 8th wandering star, this space station. Okay. Now, me taking a video of this is not trying to prove that the space station's real or something, but what this is a light in the sky that is going over my house all the time. All the time. So, whatever you think this light is, if you think it's men faking space, let me remind you guys about the people that think that NASA is lying to the world. Let me just remind you that in Revelation 12, it isn't NASA who deceives the whole world. It's Satan, the devil, who deceives the whole world. And no, he does not deceive the whole world except for a few elite people. There's no people lying to the world. So when people say, hey, the Earth's flat, space has to be a lie, try to think of it a little differently. one of the comments I just left, or a reply I just left us to a similar comment on my channel was that space, you know, I can't remember exactly how I put it. The scope of deception, if we're talking about men faking rocket launches and CGI and harnesses and the space station doesn't exist and all that way of thinking, I think you need to step out of that and try to realize that the scope of this deception is on a spiritual level, and it's spiritual warfare. And the scope is much larger than men lying to other men. That's not what is happening here. Let's see. Captain says, play with speed on that is unnerving. Not sure what that means. So there's a bunch of wizards, and they build these tools and vehicles to go into a place that is unknown to them. And although they might think it's a place to explore, it's a trap that they've walked into. And these men are wicked men. They don't think they're wicked, because after all, space is just a physical place. It's not even heaven, right? It's just a place for us to explore. Well, let me read what Jesus said in John chapter 10. Let me go there real quick. And you can interpret it how you want to, but I'll just read a few verses here. Physics in space. You got to be kidding me. I'm waiting for my computer to open up John 10. There is absolutely nothing in space that resembles anything like the earth. Okay? Jesus said, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. Guys, that's happening right now. You hear his voice? He's leading us out. Verse 4 says, and when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. Then said Jesus unto them again, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I have to stop there and just what goes through my, it's like blaring in my ears, in my mind when I read that. Space is fake. Space is fake. All the people in the world right now that 5 years ago started, I don't know what you call it. They started saying something repeated amongst them the same way all over the world. Space is a lie. It's deception. That's what I hear when I hear this voice. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for his sheep. That's Jesus. And it seems so clear to me what's happening today is that we've been born in a time where we've been involved in something very wicked. But since we were born into it, and our whole world sees the world in a certain way, it wasn't looked at as wicked. But climbing into heaven on a spaceship, all that I get from the Bible from that is you're actually sinking down into Sheol. Because the heavenly realm, let me just, an example verse is 2 Peter 2 verse 4, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell. If God's in heaven and he's cast something down to hell, he's casting it down below himself, down as far away from him as it could be, into darkness, into outer darkness, or where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus said that. So now in our modern society, we've been into thinking that outer darkness is actually an adventure place to explore. It's not at all. One of the worst things that we've ever done, and the rockets are going to actually end up destroying the world. Enoch saw this. He said there was the noise from their wagons. He saw men flying on the four winds in wagons. It was the noise of their wagons that moved the foundations of the earth out of their place. And it actually made Enoch like faint or pass out or whatever because of what he was seeing in the sky. He saw the sky being shaken and quaking, and all the angels were nervous and scared because of the noise that these wagons were making. That's Enoch chapter 57 and 60. Don't be a part of this. That's all I'm saying. You know, here's another interesting thing. Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, you know, that topic that everybody, you know, talks about, and they all say, it's America, or it's Jerusalem, or it's... They're all wrong. And I'm not saying I'm right, but I can just show you that they're all wrong. Thinking of it right. Babylon, in Revelation 18 verse 2, an angel comes, the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils. I can't remember exactly how it goes. A habitation of devils, a cage for unclean birds or something like that, and a hold for evil spirits. That's what Babylon the Great is. It's a prison for evil spirits. When John went to see Mystery Babylon in Revelation chapter 17, where did the angel take him? To see all of that. He saw the beast, and he saw Mystery Babylon riding the beast. Where was he when he saw all that? He was at the point of view that you're at right now, looking at the screen. He was in darkness. He was in the spirit in the wilderness. The angel took him away in the spirit, like out of his body or something. And so corruptible things being in a place that is incorruptible is defiling that place. It'd be similar to, you know, having a nice clean table for dinner and just taking a shovel full of dirt and just putting the dirt on the table. There you go. There's your clean table. I'm sure that's how God kind of looks at it. Material things in a non-material world. And so is it even possible? Well, of course. God sends them strong delusion so that they'll believe a lie. Just like when they were building the Tower of Babel, he did the same thing. He knew they were wicked in their hearts. This is in the book of Jasher chapter 9 that you can find this. They were so wicked in their hearts that they wanted to build this tower and make a name for themselves. And so when they had built this tower, they went up to the top of the tower and they actually shot arrows and spears up at God to try to kill him or something. And what did God do? He dropped their arrows down covered in blood to cause them to err because they were wicked in their hearts. This is what's happening today with the space exploration idea. So physics in space, don't believe any of that. If someone tells you that the astronauts are experiencing the same physics that we experience on the Earth, bring up things like 0G, bring up things like no air, no water, no birds, no food, no life. Do you know when the astronauts go into orbit or whatever, when they go up to the space station, immediately when they leave the Earth, their bones start shrinking, their bodies start dying, and they literally have to work out like 3 hours a day just to stay alive. They have to work out so their muscles don't deteriorate away, because the forces that are upon us in the world don't apply in space. So don't ever let anyone tell you that the same physics apply in space. It's more like let me think of an example. When someone doesn't understand something, but they want to feel like they understand it, so they can make up whatever they feel. Oh, it must be that. That's what's going on there. And that, like, I can't think of an example or something right now, but what I'm saying is people in the world don't understand what's happening up there, but they apply a certain physics, and yeah, that seems to work. Yeah, that seems to work. And somehow they've brainwashed and brain trained themselves into thinking that the physics are that 0G is somehow the same as what we experience on the Earth. It's not. Let me go back to my notepad and pull up something here. Okay. Space is only a place if you're moving Mach 25. So if you take a rocket, the biggest rocket ever could be made, let's say, bigger than the Saturn V, and you send it straight up in the air, you know what's going to happen to that rocket? You could send it up 1,000,000 miles, or however far you think you could go. Guess what's going to happen to that rocket? It's going to fall right back down. It's going to land about the same spot that you launched. And then you're saying, no, they went to the moon on a Saturn V. Well, in order to go to the moon on a Saturn V, you have to go up just a little bit, and then you have to go sideways. That's how they get to the moon, is by going sideways. And you have to go sideways Mach 25. But to go to the moon, you have to even go faster than that, because your speed or your velocity, your sideways, it's like, so like it. Let me think of an example. If you're standing at the beach and there is a airplane or a jet that's flying from left to right, and it's maintaining its same altitude the whole time. So you're seeing a plane from the left, and you're seeing it fly to the right, and so it's, you know, you're looking at the water on the ocean and the plane's above the water, and it's a two parallel lines right there, the path of the jet and then the water below it. That's how you get to the moon, is you have to go sideways, even with that water, or I should say parallel with that water that's on the Earth. You have to go sideways at a high velocity, and the higher the velocity is, the further that you get to be above that water, but you're still going sideways. So it doesn't make any sense unless there's a sphere, unless the Earth's a sphere. So that's what the trick is. That's how Lucifer has deceived the world, by making them think it's a sphere. Now they go into space, and what NASA would say is, yeah, physics applies because we're free falling around the curvature of the Earth. But if we prove the Earth is flat, everything falls apart up there. There's no rhyme to or reason to anything that NASA says up there, unless the Earth is curved. So that's what the trick is, because the Earth's not curved, guys. Not the Earth we live on. You know, you got big bodies of water called oceans and lakes, but the oceans are really interesting because they're a body of water, and they're held in by a container, just like your bathtub or the lake by your house or the pond in the backyard or whatever. There's an edge to it. Water doesn't go wrapping around spheres. That no one's ever watched that. Okay. And if you're in the space station, you look at the Earth. Actually, is that playing right now? Let me see what I've got up here really quick. I think I have a video here. Yeah, right here. Okay, let me just show you this. This is what you see from the space station, right? Now, the curve in front of you, the separation between the Earth and the darkness, that's not actually a curve up and down. That's a curve in front of you. It's part of the circle of your view. Like if you were to, in the room you're in right now, if you were to take and just look at a spot, and then you turn a full circle, and you just don't change the height of your eyes, you'll draw a circle around the room. That's what that is. It's not the Earth curving, because water doesn't curve like that. You don't have a hump of water sticking up, 400 miles between LA and Hawaii? No, it's just flat water the whole way, and it's contained in some kind of a container. So what we're seeing here is just a great way for men to be deceived. Because I wish I could, let me get something that I can put on the, I just have to be able to show you something. Okay. Whoa, that's not what I'm trying to do. Oh, I won't be able to do that. Never mind. Okay. At the top of that curvature right there, that's the farthest distance away that you can see. So this is not a sphere that we're looking at. It's just the Earth, and then there's darkness above. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm probably not explaining myself very well, but just a couple more things I wanted to mention, and then I'm going to say hi to everyone in the chat. But okay, radiation in space. That's another thing that is different than it is on the Earth. Spacewalks, when they do spacewalks, when they come back in and they are in they're a pressurized container, and they're bringing the pressure up slowly to be so they can get out of the spacesuit. And there's this distinct smell that all the astronauts talk about. This burnt smell. They say it's like burnt cookies. It smells like burnt steak. It smells like spent gunpowder. Chris Hadfield said it smells like brimstone, like a witch has just been there. That's a quote. Why would a spacesuit in a vacuum have a smell? Makes absolutely no sense. You can't smell anything in a vacuum. There's nothing to smell. So what is making the spacesuit smell like metal? Like burnt metal? And one other thing is, the only way that men can go into space, like I was saying a little bit ago, is to go sideways at Mach 25. And in the world that we live in, there's only one thing that will make something go that fast, and it happens to be fire. You need fire to go into that place, and a lot of it. Thrust. So, I would say, in conclusion, for this physics thing that I'm talking about, the heavenly realm is the one above the earth. And I would say, if I was going to be specific, I would say that the firmament starts where the air ends. And that's actually how Enoch sort of describes the treasuries of the winds. The four winds, they hold up the firmament. They're the pillars of the heaven. So when they take a spaceship, and I'll try to show you an image of it. When they take a rocket and they fly it up in the air, they don't keep going up. That's not where space is. You can't get to space by going up. You have to go sideways. I'm trying to find... Oh, wrong. I'm looking through the wrong list. Here we go. Whoops. This right here. Let's just watch this. This is a Soyuz rocket launch, and this is footage taken from the ISS as they're going over. See the rocket launching in the middle there? Now watch that rocket. It's going up right now, but as soon as it gets out of the air, it's going to turn and start trying to catch up with where the camera is right now. See, now it's staying at the same height. It's going sideways now. It's not going, excuse me, it's not going up anymore. Oh, I'm looking at the chat here. And Chris Shizback, is that right? Maybe it's not. Is bringing up Operation or Project Fishbowl or whatever. I'm just looking there. So yeah, sideways to go to space, guys. SpongeBob stuff. SpongeBob SquarePants, I guess. I think I have a meme about that. Let's do this. Let's go darkness again. Boom. That's what the abyss looks like. Just like that. But God put some stars in there to give light upon the earth, and for signs and seasons and days and years. And we've all grown up our lives thinking that it's beneath us, when it's actually it is below God. It's the bottomless pit. It's not below the earth, or I suppose it is, but the place that we see it, the place that we experience it, is the firmament of heaven, where the sun, moon, and stars are. That's called outer space, or the universe, or whatever people call it. That is outer darkness, and we're at the end of the world because of the things that men are doing. So, let's see. I'm just leaving it. Let me do something here. Let's see if this is the right one. Nope, that's not the right. I can't even do that now. Sorry, I got a big mess of images up there. I'm just leaving it black. I'm just going to say hi to everyone. Thank you guys for hanging out and coming. I'm going all the way up to the top of the chat to see if I can say hi to everyone. Michael Kahn is up there. Nim 72 Reshu. Salted Cedar, Captain Caveman, Davey313, Winston, Deb Woods. Hey, Deb Woods, your comment, and I don't have it in front of me. I didn't even reply to it yet, but one of your comments that you left on one of my videos was actually one of the comments I was talking about, that I see some of the most wise people, or I don't know if that's the right word, some of the most, the smartest people and humble people that leave comments. And now that I saw Deb Woods is here, I actually have to find that comment if I can. I'm looking for it here. I'll try to give it some context. I could use myself for an example. I used to believe things a certain way. I used to think things were a certain way. And I used to think that hell was in beneath the earth or in the earth. Never considered it being up in the sky. But once I learned from the scriptures or that I was mistaken about it, and from the prophet Isaiah and verse 9, hell from beneath is moved to meet him at his coming. And then there's so many things that I've learned that against what I believed before. I had to change. I had to humble myself and say, oh, I guess I was way wrong about this, and it's clearly this other way. That's kind of what I'm talking about. That's why I'm going to look for this comment. There was a couple, and I think I actually remember one of the, I'll say the channel, I think it's Mountains with a View or Mountain with a View, possibly. There was 2 comments, maybe 3, but 2 comments from Deb Woods. You guys just impressed me. And there's, maybe it was a week ago. Sorry guys, I've had kind of a busy week and I haven't been replying to the comments right away. I'm looking here. Okay. Yes, maybe it's this comment. I'm not sure. But this is the kind of thinking that I think we should all have. So props to Deb Woods. Let me read this, or let me get it on the screen for you guys. That this is an example. I'm not trying to like prop up Deb Woods. I'm saying that this is an example of an attitude or a mindset that I think we should all have in the time that we're living in. Desktop. Okay. See this comment right here? This might not be the one I'm thinking of, but I'm going to read it. So the capsule itself was rotating. That's why they seem to be doing figure eights. I need to think about this. How was it so light for the pictures if space is darkness? Because the sun was on that side? I don't remember if we've seen light on a spacewalk, but I don't watch them. Joe, thanks. Now I'm more confused. We need another live stream so you can teach my small brain. Okay, this isn't the comment I was thinking of. So we're gonna keep scrolling down. And thank you guys for all your comments. I do go through them and read them. Sometimes it takes me a little while. This is the other channel. This one, Mountain with a View, right here. We're gonna try to find their comment too. It's just a mindset that I think it's important that we all have, where we say, "Oh, I don't know everything, and I'm willing to learn." And the best place to learn it is from the King of Kings, who sent his Spirit. I think what I gotta do is close a bunch of these or something. My computer's just really slow. Let's see here. Bill Wheel. Taking a minute here. Sorry guys. I just think it's important. And I saw Deb Woods, I saw the name there and I said I gotta point this out. When we think we know something, it's so hard to learn that we don't, or to find out that we were mistaken. It's hard. But when we do, and we like can kind of just say, well, I was wrong about that, in our own minds, I'm saying. You don't have to like tell everybody, hey, I was wrong. That's not the point. But the point is that if we can, in our own hearts, say, wow, things might be different than I, am so sure that they are. Yes, I'm still scrolling. This is how long it takes me or my computer today. Hey, there's Beck from Oz, Paul Levi, Tiger Bear, Brandy Montoya, Darlene Smith. Lots of good comments. Okay, this is taking forever. I should have actually, because I was thinking about that, I should have just gotten these comments and, copied and pasted them or something. West Texas. Zilrin Rocha. Oh, okay, where are we here? Lots of comments. Thank you for your patience, guys. I'm not trying to waste time. I just feel like it's really important to have a mindset that is like a learning mindset. You can't teach an old dog new tricks or whatever. Yeah, that's not true. Don't ever believe that. Excuse me. Okay, so maybe in a few hours we'll get down to some more comments here. I'm just kidding. Nobody thinks you're crazy for being a flat earther, just ignorant. Well, that's gonna change. Not because I'm changing it. The King of Kings sent his spirit, and he is showing us things that have been kept secret since the world began. Shauna! I'm just looking at the comments here. Jerry T is obviously telling me something. Half the sun, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to go through comments because there's like a lot of the comments that I don't reply to. It doesn't mean that I didn't read your comment or didn't care about it. Oh, there's Deb Woods. I just went right past. Let's see if that's the one. Oh boy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a specific video about that. I'll find the comment. I'll make a video about it. It'll be a short video and I'll upload it. Just to like encourage people to have a certain mindset, because this obviously is not gonna, this is going very slow. And my computer feels like it's gonna crash. So that's what I'll do. Sorry guys, I'm gonna go to the chat here and continue saying hello. So hello Deb Woods, thank you for your comments. Brought me all the way down to the bottom. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Yaz Will Soaring, Rebecca Rogers, Damon Zodiac, Chris Shizback. Awesome to see you guys. Oh, that's it. That's all the higher I can go, I guess. Brian, welcome. And I hope I don't skip anyone, because if I was going to skip someone, it would probably be you, wouldn't it? Anybody. No, I'm just kidding. Ben Bustler, good to see you. And Karen Ann Preston. Gen X Coffee House, what's up, Anthony? Good to see you, as always. Stuart Pound, thumbs up. Still working our way down. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, I got to do something. I got to figure out my computer is a little bit lacking on the scrolling and stuff. I don't know why it's so bad. Randy Cochran, good to see you. Roderick is in the house, or was in the house. I like the comments, guys. I hope I'm not skipping anybody. I'm scrolling kind of fast. Winston, I think I already said hi to Winston. Jonathan Sparks. Good to see you. Oops. Almost to the bottom. Veronica, no. Good to see you. And is that all? I think. Well, no, I got to keep going. John Paul Fay, good to see you. Thank you. Moomin Rider Bicyclist for Justice. Thank you. I've been seeing some of your comments too. I like your comments. I'm glad you guys are leaving comments. I think it's one of the places that I think people can express whatever they believe in. And like there's some bad comments on my channel. That's one other thing. One other comment I'm gonna make about commenting on my channel. Like, I don't have rules to comment on my channel, but even YouTube holds some comments for review. But I'll just say this. There's a lot of people that have commented on my channel lately that will notice that their comments don't show up on my channel anymore. And if that's the case, you could email me and we could discuss maybe specifically what it was or what comments it was or whatever. But my comment section on my channel is for information that's useful, and it doesn't have to be encouraging, but it shouldn't be insulting, because that's not, no one's gonna learn by insulting someone else. But having an opposing view is more than welcome. And like asking questions like why would you say physics doesn't apply in space? Asking questions, or things that are related to a topic in the video or whatever. I welcome all of that. If you're going to be calling people effing this and all this, you're not going to be there. You're going to be banned. And so if I don't like hiding people on my channel. I do not like it, because even the worst comments, I read through them and I say, I try to put myself in the shoes of the person leaving the comment, whether they're frustrated or whether they think I'm dumb or whether they think I'm overlooking something or whatever. But it's when they kind of do the insults or the attacks that I really, I don't really care what they say. I'll take it to heart what they're saying, but you don't need to insult other people with harsh words if you're trying to actually have a conversation. So that's the swearing and stuff like that. You're probably just not going to show up on my channel. Same thing within the chat here. I think I have a lot of blue wrenches who will sweep you right out of there because there's no reason. There's no reason for it. And I'll use MC Toon as an example. He is a guy that cannot stand the idea of Earth being flat. He's against it entirely. But guess what? He's a super nice guy that knows how to communicate with other people without insulting them. And joking around. That's fun. Like I talk to him, and I have a good time when I'm talking to him, even though we're totally in disagreement about just about everything we talk about. Do you know what I'm saying? It can still be a good conversation, positive, for, he might walk away thinking, oh, that guy that doesn't get it. And I might walk away thinking, oh, that guy doesn't get it. But the conversation we had was fine. And that, you know what I'm saying. So, I will make a video specifically about a couple comments that once I get through some more of these comments, I don't know where they are, but just something that struck me really kind of like, it seemed powerful the way that these people, I think it was Mountain with a View and Deb Woods, just the comments, and there might have been one more, but the way that, just the way they put it showed me, wow, I want to be like that. That's why I said I want to have an attitude like that. So I'll make a short video about that just because this is probably not going to go much longer. So West Texas had a good video this morning. If you guys aren't subscribed to West Texas, go check out his morning Bible studies or whatever he calls them. Usually I don't make it on time. I'm always showing up late, and so I watch it all by myself, even if he does a live stream. But good stuff. Thank you, West Texas. So awesome, guys. I'm gonna head out of here, and remember the times we live in. The truth is important, and if you already thought you knew the truth, hey, Todd Wazzle. Okay, Twad Wazzle. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm glad you said that right there. I'm gonna put some videos. I'm gonna go to my content right now, and I'm gonna put some videos. There's a couple streams that I think there's a lot of important information in, and they're more organized than this. Like I'm just talking here right now, but sometimes when I do a live stream, I prepare for it. Other times not. And yes, I already clicked the content button. That's how long it's taking. I don't know. But there's a live stream I did about Satan, and it was called. Well, there's 2 live streams, and maybe I'm just not having very. Oh, there we go. It's finally gonna go. Isn't this terrible? It takes, and it's not my internet. It's actually my computer. So I'm running OBS. I'm running Sparkle Cam, and I'm running. There's a lot of things going on. I think my computer's fully at max, trying to get them done. I'll just close some of these while I'm waiting. Oh, I guess we'll just exit that page. Microgravity. Looks like the page is starting to come around. My content here. Oh, it's gonna make us wait. I don't know. If you go to my live streams, Twadwazzle, sorry. Oh, maybe we'll get it here. I'm just gonna click on it anyway. But there's a couple that I think have a lot of good information for them. They're a little more organized than this. And hey, look, I'm live right now. Wow. Look at that. We got 2 dislikes, 27 likes. Okay. Let's go down to... I've got a lot of live streams, guys. Okay, this one right here. The Firmament. I'm going to get a shareable link, and I'll just put these in the chat here. So if you guys, you can open them in a new tab and watch them later or whatever. But it seems like I might have had a better presentation of some of the things that I've been learning in those particular videos. Here's one of them. Okay, so there's one of them, and there's 2 more. Armies surrounding New Jerusalem. This one is there's a lot in that video, I guess. Okay, so there's that one. And yeah, Captain Caveman, thank you. I do have to do that. I gotta get organized and make some playlists. Then there's one more. This one right here. And it's called, Do You Still Think Satan is Fake? Because I've noticed that most of the flat earthers think Satan's fake. Which, if you're a flat earther, you're probably like, what? What are you talking about? Well, watch this video that the 3rd one there. Watch that link, and you'll understand exactly what I mean. We've been in a place where Satan of all the people that are deceived in the world, Satan has his focus on a small group of people who are being overcome by him, and he's prevailing against them right now. And I think that's why a lot of them think he's fake. So that video might explain some things, but that's I think I just wanted to show you those, and those should be good. But thank you guys for hanging out, and I'm gonna end the stream. So I will put out a video. Maybe I'll call it the right attitude, or the right mindset is probably what I'll call it. Something like that. It'll be a short one just to show you guys those comments, and you'll understand why they're so profound, or they just mean so much right now. I think for all of us, if we could have a certain mindset. So I'll try to get those in a video. Thanks guys, have a great day, and thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time.